So hello and welcome to the video. Travelling in premium cabins is great. For those travelling on business, a premium cabin is a reasonable expectation in compensation for the inconvenience that a business trip causes. That's why many airlines call it business class. But when you are paying for your own ticket, business class can seem to be out of reach. Generally, it's economy class or you stay at home. But did you know it's possible to get the same seat as the person next to you for perhaps half of what they paid using one simple trick? Same seat, same food, same drink, half the price. He'll explain, so stick around.
Hi, I'm Matt. Over the last 25 years, I've travelled a lot. I've lived in 5 countries on 4 continents. I've flown over 1.3 million miles. I've visited over 100 countries, every American state, but I'm nowhere near done. So subscribe to the channel so you can come with me.
So, how do you get a ticket for half price? This isn't an advanced booking trick, although booking well in advance will often save you money. Nor is it a question of getting lucky with a sale fare. Neither is it a question of finding some bucket shop somewhere selling discounted business class tickets, not that I think they exist anymore anyway. The technique we're calling about here is generally known as an Ex-EU. This will be the first of 2 videos on the subject. If you accuse me of breaking up my videos into smaller chunks to pad out my content until such a time as lockdown is over and I am able to go out and get some proper footage, you'd be completely correct. In this video, I'll explain what an ex-EU fare actually is and give some explanation as to why they exist. Now, ex-EU. Britain has now left the EU, so we're not talking about a Brexit thing here. If we were talking about Brexit, well, on the first hand, the whole thing... Stupid idea. Anyway. An ex-EU is, quite simply, a trip where you start somewhere other than your home airport, which, as we're talking about British Airways, means London. Generally, this will be somewhere within the EU, hence the name, but it could also be from a non-EU country, and in a couple of circumstances it could actually be from somewhere within the UK. By connecting through London to your final destination, you get access to a much cheaper fare than would be the case if you flew to that destination directly. There's 2 effects at work here, plus there's an obvious consequence to starting your journey outside of London that adds inconvenience. But first, an example of what I'm talking about. But before that, if you would be so kind as to like this video, it would really help me out with the YouTube algorithm. I would love you to subscribe if you are new to the channel, and also leave me a comment. I would love to hear from you. If you wanted to fly from London to New York out on the 1st of November, back on the 5th, so Monday to Friday, that would cost you £6,507. If you flew from Dublin to New York, crossing the Atlantic on exactly the same plane in exactly the same seat, that would cost you about £3,500, which is a 46% saving. Now, £3,500 is still a lot of money, but it's a lot less than £6,500, and you could travel in economy on those flights for about £500. These fares are particularly high because I haven't included a Saturday night away. These principles will pretty much work with all fares that you would come across. So why are these fares cheaper? Well, there are 2 reasons: tax and convenience. Here's a trip from London to Los Angeles which includes a Saturday night stay and would cost £1,654 direct, but around £1,325 by starting in Dublin, so a 20% saving. Here are the breakdowns on the fares component, and you can see that the base fare is very similar, about 3% cheaper from Dublin. Then 7 of the UK and US imposed fees are identical or only vary from foreign exchange quirks. Then you have 1 that is higher on the Dublin fare, which is a UK airport fee which actually doubles as you are using the airport inbound and outbound on that Dublin fare. And there are 2 fees which are higher on the London fare. The first is the carrier surcharge, which is £135 more on the London to Los Angeles itinerary, despite the fact that you're actually travelling a greater distance on the Dublin to Los Angeles itinerary. Years ago, airlines worked out that they could hide some of their revenues in taxes and thereby reduce their published fares. These surcharges were initially intended to cover things like unplanned fuel cost increases, although they rise when fuel costs go up, but they never seem to go back down again when fuel costs fall. BA has a black belt in this black art, and you can see here that the longer itinerary has a third lower surcharge, which makes no sense. Incidentally, this surcharge malarkey is the reason why you still have to lob over a big chunk of cash when you make an Avios booking with BA. The taxes they make you pay in cash include a chunk of revenue to them in the form of this surcharge. If lockdown continues much longer, I may have to do a full video on surcharges. The other difference in these fares comes from the UK's air passenger duty, which for the direct London to Los Angeles routing is £180. Right, if you find all of this a bit too boring, you can at least watch The Penguin. What's that? No, the nice lady in the white coat said I didn't meet the medical definition of insanity. Air passenger duty, or APD, is a tax created by the British government in 1994 to raise money from international travellers who were seen to be a bit of a soft target. People might assume it was created as an environmental tax, but it wasn't. It was created just to raise money. It is defended now as having a positive environmental effect, and there are studies that do show that it does reduce international travel. The rate has been increased over the years as international travellers remain a soft target, and it now raises about £3.7 billion a year for the government each year, although perhaps not for this year, which is almost as much as they raise from inheritance tax. Briefly, there are two bands. Band A covers countries where the capital city of that country is less than 2,000 miles away, and Band B covers everything else. The reduced rate is economy class, standard is premium economy and above, and the higher rate covers aircraft with less than 19 seats, which basically means private jets. So by travelling on an ex-EU fare, if your stop in London is for less than 24 hours, you will avoid paying the APD, which can be a major saving. If you stop for more than 24 hours, that is classified as a stopover and you pay the APD. There may be situations where an ex-EU fare is actually still the way to go, even if you have to stop in London and end up paying the APD. So in this example, the ex-EU fare is cheaper solely because of the favourable surcharges and taxes. But before I move on, a couple more quick things about air passenger duty. Management of this tax is devolved to the regional governments within the UK, and Northern Ireland has removed APD from all direct Band B flights from the province. And Scotland has removed APD from all airports in its highlands and islands. These loopholes are of limited use, although Inverness is served by BA, so there is an opportunity here, provided you can get to Inverness for less than the APD that you're saving. As an example, flying to Dubai in premium economy from Inverness will save you £93 as the £180 APD fee is waived. You'll note that BA demonstrates its skills in the black arts again by adding a 30% higher surcharge to the Inverness itinerary. Probably because they're wise to this wriggle and think they can milk more money out of their customers without them noticing. Right, that's enough about taxes and surcharges, the takeout being that you can take advantage of these loopholes to save money. So we'll end this video here. In the next video I'll talk a little bit more about why these fares exist and also talk about the obvious inconvenience of having to start the trip overseas. Thanks for watching, like, subscribe and leave me a comment, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.